Hello everyone, Carlos here. So today I have a quick video for you on how you can use PowerShell to parse STIX files. Now STIX stands for Structure Threat Information Expression Language. It actually allows us to express all kinds of information about a specific case, incident, campaign, or attacker in a structured way so we can share that information among us security professionals. CISA is great. One of the things that they do is that when they come out with this Stop the Ransomware campaigns and they're talking specific, uh, when they talk specifically about certain actors or campaigns that are happening, they share this information in STIX format. Now they give you either an XML or a JSON file. And in this video, we're going to quickly go over how you can use PowerShell to work with the JSON file. So here in the Stop the Ransomware hashtag from CISA, we have a advisory that they came out with about the Phobos ransomware. And as we go through this advisory itself, we can look at the report itself. But in addition to that, they provide us all of the indicators of compromise, all of the IOCs in STIX format. And here you can see that we can download the XML or the JSON. So I'm going to go here into my laptop. I'm going to do an ls on my downloads folder. As you can see here, I have downloaded the one for Alpha Black Hat that at the time of this writing, they have shut down operations very suspiciously. But here we have the one for Phobos ransomware. So let's do something. Let me just create a variable here. We're going to call it PHP equals. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this JSON file into an object. Let's do get content. I want to get the content of this file. Path A24. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want raw, because if not, PowerShell is going to turn it into an array of lines. So each line is going to be an element into an array. So I want everything in one single string. I'm going to pipe this to convert from JSON. Now when I do this and I do PHP, you can see that now I have a PS custom object that has three different types of properties. One is called type, which is the bundle, the ID, the specific GUID for this block of information. Then I have all of the different objects. What I'm interested in is in the objects themselves. So I can just do objects and call this property for this object. And I have now all of the data that CISA is providing me on all of the IOCs. As you can see, I have quite a bit of information here. So I have a bunch of different smaller objects inside of this bundle. So I want to check what type. So you can see that all of them have a property called type. And then some say indicator and all attack pattern and some others. So let's take a look at all of those types. And for that, I'm going to use the select object commandlet. Or I can just type select. I'm going to give it the property. So in this case, it's type. So I'm only selecting that. So that's the only data that I'm going to be getting through that pipeline. When I look at this, I have relationship, I have report indicators, and I also have attack patterns. So also marking definitions and location, very useful information. So let's take a look at the report one. So what I'm going to do is word type equals report. Now I have all of that report information there shown to me as a object. So I can see here, hey, description, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, CISA, and others are kind of like putting this out. I have when was the published date, when was it created, when was it modified. I can see the spec version of the for the STIX format. So in addition, also, I forgot to mention that in addition to all of these indicators, attack patterns, the report, relationship, and all of that stuff, if we go over to the STIX webpage, we can see that we have a bunch of other objects that we can use. So courses of action, campaign, we have indicators, identity, intrusion sets, information about malware, nodes, opinions, report. I wish more vendors actually would give me this in addition to their very nice reports and tables in the appendixes at the end. It will make it a lot easier for me to actually leverage this, as you will see. So let's take a look right now at the attack patterns. And here I can see that CISA tagged all of the different attack patterns by how they are actually related to MITRE, to the attack framework. Let's pull out all of this MITRE information, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create it into its own little object that then I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do now is I go here, attack pattern, and I'm going to do for each. I'm going to be creating a PS custom object. I'm going to give it a hash table. So this hash table will have name, because as you can see here, it's giving me the name of the type of attack pattern. So what I'm going to do is equals $_ which means everything that's been passed through my pipeline. And I'm going to say name. So all of a sudden, my new object is going to have a property called name. Now I just use colon here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the ID. So I can say capital letter ID. I'm going to do equals. And then what I'm going to do is every object that is being passed. Here I can see that the ID is called external ID. So I'm getting a collection under external references. So I'm going to do external references. And since this is a collection, I want the first element in that collection. So it's 0 external _ID. So now I have all of those. Now if I go here, you can see now I have all of the IDs of all of the different attack patterns. So this is very useful because then I can use this information as kind of like a roadmap of what should I be covering if I'm worried specifically around Phobos. Are they targeting my specific market sector, or are they targeting somebody that I know, a competitor or anything like that? And that now makes me think, hey, I could be a target. I can start looking at this different MITRE attack framework IDs for this specific tactics and techniques. And I can just look at the data sources and the references so I know what to cover. In fact, if I even want this into a very more beautiful way of looking at it, I can just do out grid view. And let me do Control+ to make it bigger. So now here I have kind of like a GUI that I can interact with all of this, where I can add criteria and I can even filter and everything out. Or I can even turn this into a CSV file. So I can just do export CSV. And I can just tell it that this is the Phobos techniques.csv. Hit enter. Now if I go into my downloads folder, I'm going to have here a CSV file. With all of that information that allows me to share this information across different teams. So this is kind of useful for me. I'm already parsing this information so I can take actions on it a lot quicker. Now, what if I think that I may have been a target of Phobos? Well, one of the ones that we were seeing was that we had indicators. So all of a sudden we can just start looking for indicators, specific IOCs that CISA has identified with their partners, and they want us to know about those. So if I do indicator, oops, singular. Here I have several indicators. So I have file indicator, I have IPv4 indicators, where they've given me an IPv4 address that I can check across all of my firewall logs. I have file hashes that I can then use with my EDR, like Defender, Falcon from CrowdStrike, Sentinel-1. All of them allow me to search my machine for specific hashes or file names. So in addition to that, what other indicators do I have here? I have emails also that I can start working with. So one of the quick ways that I can just parse this data and start looking at it, as I did before, was just select. And I'm going to be looking for, let's say, the name, and I'm going to then do the pattern that I'm looking. And now I have different patterns. Here I have email indicators, and I have the logic like, hey, reference value from somebody from one of these emails have been sending data. I can quickly go into my Office 365 and start just searching through my logs. Have I gotten an email from any of this? In addition to that, I have file indicators here. I have a file name, ahpdata.exe, plus I have a hash. If I'm using sysmon, in the case I don't have an EDR, I can search for this hash in my logs for anybody creating a, let's say, a PE file. So sysmon allows you to log the creation of PE files. Also, I can even block those. So I can even create rules for blocking the creation of PE files with this specific MD5 hash or SHA-1 or SHA-2 hash. So quickly, I am able to parse all of this information in a way that is a lot more shareable. I can actually take actions upon them. So as you can see, this is a very quick tip on the power of scripting. If you're able to use PowerShell and grab that JSON file, you're going to then parse all of that data out. Quickly take actions to see if you have been a target of one of these actors or campaigns. In addition to that, it allows you to have the information that you need at hand to start creating detections in the case that you have been targeted by one of them. Now, many people are going to say, hey, Carlos, one of the things that happens is that actors are going to be modifying their files. They're going to be padding them. Well, let me tell you something. One of the things that I've noticed is that they're lazy. Sometimes I've even seen this, red teamers do this, even pen testers. Well, they'll create a bunch of payloads and they'll reuse those payloads throughout their campaign. So they're not targeting every user with one single file with a single hash. They'll just create one for that specific company and they'll use that hash key file against everybody in their phishing campaign. There, it's not going to be per target. Or sometimes I've even seen attackers just create one single PE file and use it against an entire sector or set of targets that they're going after. So yeah, they're humans just like us. And the more friction that they have in their operation, the more shortcuts they're going to take, depending if they're tired or whatever. So yes, you can leverage this information very quickly, either for detections or for searching to make sure that you have not been a victim. So I hope that you find this information useful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.